A young woman accused and convicted of murdering her boyfriend, then reportedly facing execution inside Botswana's prison system. Social media exploded with debate. Some called her cold-blooded. Others questioned what truly happened behind the scenes. And many were haunted by one terrifying thought: how does a relationship end with someone on death row? This is the story of Paida Moyonyoni, a relationship nobody thought would end in tragedy. Before headlines and courtrooms, Paida Moyonyoni was simply a young Zimbabwean woman trying to build a life across the border in Botswana. Friends reportedly described her relationship as serious. To outsiders, they appeared like many couples, young, hopeful, and trying to survive financially in difficult times. But relationships can hide storms the public never sees. According to reports circulated online and in regional media, tensions between Nyoni and her boyfriend had allegedly been growing before the murder. Suspicion, emotional conflict. Nobody imagined it would eventually lead to murder allegations. The exact details surrounding the case became the center of intense public discussion. According to court allegations, an argument between the couple escalated violently inside their residence in Botswana. What began as a domestic dispute allegedly turned deadly. Prosecutors claimed Nyoni fatally attacked her boyfriend during the confrontation. Reports varied online regarding the exact method used, but investigators treated the case as intentional murder. Emergency responders reportedly arrived too late. The victim was pronounced dead. And within hours, what had been a private relationship conflict transformed into a criminal investigation. Arrested far from home for Zimbabweans living and working in Botswana, the story hit particularly hard. Many migrants travel there searching for jobs, stability, and opportunities unavailable at home. But being arrested in another country carries an entirely different level of fear. Nyoni was taken into custody by Botswana authorities and formally charged with murder. And in Botswana, murder cases are treated with extreme seriousness. Unlike some countries where life imprisonment is standard, Botswana still maintains the death penalty for certain crimes. That reality immediately changed the stakes of the case. Suddenly, this was no longer just about imprisonment. It became a fight for life itself. The investigation, as detectives investigated the killing, prosecutors reportedly worked to establish the motive, intent, and what exactly happened during the fatal confrontation. Investigators allegedly examined witness statements, the crime scene, communication between the couple, and forensic evidence. Online speculation spread rapidly. Some social media users claimed the relationship had been toxic for months. Others suggested jealousy and betrayal played roles. But much of the online discussion remained unverified rumor. Inside court, however, prosecutors focused on proving murder beyond reasonable doubt. And according to reports, the evidence convinced the court. As proceedings continued, the case drew widespread attention both in Botswana and Zimbabwe. Many followed updates online daily. TikTok creators discussed the story. Facebook pages reposted court developments, and emotional debates erupted in comment sections. Some people sympathized with Nyoni. Others focused entirely on the victim and his family. Court hearings reportedly painted a disturbing picture of a relationship that had spiraled into violence. The prosecutions argued the killing was deliberate. Defense efforts reportedly attempted to challenge aspects of the state's case, but in the end, the court sided with prosecutors. Paida Moyonyoni was convicted of murder, and then came the sentence everyone feared: sentenced to death. In Botswana, murder convictions can carry the death penalty. When the court reportedly handed down a death sentence, shockwaves spread across social media. Many Zimbabweans could hardly believe it. A young woman from their country, now sitting on death row in a foreign prison. The sentence immediately transformed the case into an international talking point across Southern Africa. Some people demanded mercy. Others argued The punishment fit the crime, and many became fascinated by the harsh reality of Botswana's justice system. Unlike countries where executions are rarely discussed publicly, Botswana has historically carried out executions by hanging inside maximum security prisons. That detail alone terrified many people following the case online. After sentencing, attention shifted to what Nyoni's life might look like behind prison walls. Death row is unlike ordinary imprisonment. Every day becomes uncertain. Every legal appeal becomes critical. And psychologically, inmates often live under enormous emotional pressure. Former prison accounts from around the world describe death row as isolating, silent, and mentally exhausting. For some inmates, hope fades slowly. For others, appeals become the only thing keeping them going. Social media posts later claimed Nyoni allegedly attempted to escape custody before being recaptured, though details surrounding those reports remained unclear and widely debated online. Still, the story only increased public fascination with the case. Social media turns the case into a phenomenon. One reason the Paidamoyo Nyoni story spread so rapidly was because of TikTok and Facebook. Short dramatic videos, edited prison images, emotional captions, and sensational headlines transformed the case into viral content. Some creators portrayed Nyoni as a dangerous criminal. Others painted her as a tragic figure whose life collapsed after one terrible moment. But as the views climbed, another issue emerged. The internet often turns real human tragedy into entertainment. Behind every headline was a dead victim, grieving families, and a woman facing the possibility of execution. Yet online, the story became content consumed in seconds. Botswana's death row penalty debate. The case also reopened conversations about capital punishment. Botswana remains one of the few African countries that still actively uses the death penalty. Supporters argue it serves as justice for serious crimes like murder. Critics argue executions are irreversible and raise moral concern. Cases involving foreign nationals often attract even more attention because diplomatic and humanitarian groups sometimes push for clemency. Some online users questioned whether Nyoni deserved another chance. Others insisted the victim's life deserved equal attention. The debates became emotional and deeply divided. One detail often lost in viral crime stories is that everybody involved had families. A family lost a son. Another family watched their daughter become convicted of murder. Somewhere in Zimbabwe, relatives reportedly waited anxiously for updates from Botswana courts and prisons. Cases like this destroy more than two lives. They ripple outward through parents, siblings, friends, and entire communities. And unlike movies, there are no clean endings, only consequences, fear, anger, and regret. Many violent relationship cases share similar emotional themes: anger, betrayal, control, jealousy, or emotional breakdowns. Sometimes violence erupts in minutes, but the emotional damage builds over months or years beforehand. That is why domestic violence experts often warn that toxic conflicts can become deadly when left unresolved. Unfortunately, by the time authorities became involved, it is often already too late. The Paidamoyo Nyoni case became more than just another crime headline. It became a story about love turning violent, the harsh consequences of murder, and how quickly one decision can destroy multiple lives forever. For some people, she became a symbol of tragedy. For others, a warning. And for many, the story remains deeply unsettling because it feels frighteningly. Two people once shared a relationship. Now one is dead, one in